everyone. How are you this fine Monday morning? Hold on here a moment. My computer is a little bit slow loading, and I'm a little bit behind schedule, but we'll get the screen share going on. While I finish loading the trade manager onto my charts. Okay, so a little bit of an opening gap to the downside, not too terribly serious, I don't think. The NASDAQ making a very strong rally into the close last Friday. And here we are opening down here around the 53.30 mark, and it looks like the NASDAQ finished around 53.45. So we've got a little bit of the gap above the market trade forecaster saying that we are in trend mode for 192 minutes to be precise. It will be interesting to see how that plays out. That would be very welcome. I'm just going to give the market a moment or two to settle while I put my trade manager on my other charts. I'm also watching gold and crude oil. Crude oil very quiet, still very sideways. Okay, all set. Here in crude oil, I'm just taking a look here at the Raptor. We may get a number 2 signal developing. We don't have the warning dot yet, but we are seeing a continued test of the highs. Here we have a retest and a possible failure. As you can see, crude oil, really congested. Friday session, almost non-existent. All right, we'll put that away for now. Getting a crossover signal here on the Raptor. Our clouds crossed over. We got a number 2 signal back here. That's the counter trend. Now we're waiting for the clouds to complete their crossover, and maybe we're going to see a number 1 signal here as a result. Oh, gold putting in a little bit of a rally now. Here's gold on the Raptor. Sorry I was a little bit late for this, but we just had a nice little hard edge bounce. And a little bit of follow through there, always nice to see. All right, we're getting a 3-arrow consolidation and a macro pullback in the hawk. Here comes the Raptor again with that possible number 1 signal developing. Let's see, can I cover the trade like that? Yes, I can. Well, we're just getting the warning dot right now. I'm going to trade it on the last signal here. However, if you wanted to be a little bit more cautious, you could wait for the next signal to develop. All right, so we have the next signal now on the Raptor. And it looks like they're going to try to bring us in short. Okay, now I'm going to try to run this one out. It's the first trade of the morning. I'm going to see whether or not I can't get a little extra mileage out of this one. Come on. Okay, so where's my follow through? Come on. Okay, thanks, Steve. Steve says pending home sales at 7, so at the top of the hour. Come on. If we can see this current bar, see how we're waffling here. If we can get this bar to finish on the low, I think we might get a little bit of momentum. They're just kind of dragging their heels off of this support line around the 53.25 mark. You can see that Friday session we had the median line just a little bit lower, around 53.22. Come on. Just getting some stops ready. Come on, you stinkers. Let's go. Okay, come on, give me a couple of ticks here and I'm going to force this trade to break even, because they are taking a little bit too long for me. Come on. All right, so I'm rolling my stops in above that last swing high, this little itty bitty swing high right here. I'm pretty sure we're on the right side of this trade, and my initial stop was up here around the 53.44 mark. That would have covered that opening gap. I just don't know if I want to risk letting the market move all the way against me into that gap. I think I may be happier with an earlier stop out today. And then look for a second chance to get short. So to that end, I'm going to roll my profit order in where my break even should be, just in case it takes one more look lower before heading higher. We've got some selling coming back. You see the Geiger counter here? Oh, no, the buyers keep flipping it over again. really going to ride out this swing? I may have been a little early with my stop. Gotta see some really aggressive selling now. Come on, sellers, where'd you go? See the Geiger counter pulling hard to the buy side. Oh, there we go. There was a glimmer of hope, a glimmer of selling. Not holding out a lot of hope for this trade right now. Gonna get, ooh, that was close. Brace yourselves. I was a little early on my number one signal. As you can see, the pullback we're getting now is probably going to be the proper pullback. All right, there we go. Got tagged. All right, David's asking, you wouldn't consider a long after the Raptor prints 2 lines and a soft edge buy? All right, well, I wouldn't. That doesn't mean the market's not going to go up here a little bit. Remember with the number 2, that's the counter trend signal. We need 2 things. First, we need a trend to reverse. So I think you got that. And then you need to have a test of the extreme. So right now we haven't really seen a test of the extreme. Compare that with this number 2 up here, where we've had a trend, we had the test of the extreme and the failure, and that's why we printed a number 2 here. I got a little cute this morning and I tried to short early on a number 1 without waiting for the proper pullback into the hard edge, into the cloud, and give the market a chance to spin it out. Now, like I said, that doesn't negate the possibility of the market heading a little bit higher here on a pullback. Oh, David says his did print a number 2. I'm just going to check my settings here while we have a moment. Yeah, I've still got the alternate setting. I think you'll be all right, David. I think the market is going to retrace here a little bit. It might even get into that opening gap. The macro pullback worked out. I should have hindsight. I should have just taken the scalp target. Okay, we're getting a slightly more bullish flare now. We're getting some green bars here. We don't have the first micro-macro cross on the hawk yet. And we're getting a little bit of a trend change signal going on here. In the Falcon, we are reacting to the hard edge. All right, Tom is asking, can you please explain the macro pullback you see and what the scalp target was? All right, first off, Tom, if you don't have our cheat sheet for the hawk yet, you can get it from the members area, or you can email me and I'll get it to you. Where did I put it? So the cheat sheet for the hawk looks like this. It has all our high probability signals that we look for: the first micro macro cross, the macro pullback, the 4-arrow consolidation, the post consolidation, and the red bar buy or the green bar sell. So the macro pullback signal occurs when the market starts to, on the hawk, starts to retreat toward the macro line. That's the big one. Everything stays in sync except the micro line. The micro line changes color. That's how you know it's a macro line pullback. So here we have a downtrending market. The market pulls back to the macro line. Everything stays in sync except the micro line. The micro line has changed color. That is a macro pullback. Targets for our hawk scalper are $50 per contract. So in a market like the NASDAQ at $5 a tick, that would be 10 ticks. So therefore, if I sold that macro line pullback, I would have made my scalp target. And you can see we had another macro line pullback during the overnight session, during the London session, or pre-market. Now we're printing a first micro-macro cross higher. Oh, I really should just go in with a single here, because it's kind of counter-trendish. The market's kind of looking for direction. Starting to look like they may get into that gap that's up here. All right, here too I'm gonna get a little cocky and try to run it out. Okay, let me just make a couple notes here about my trade. So you can see we would have hit our profit objective, especially if I had bought off the hash mark. We're at our profit target already. Okay, so just made a couple notes here in my journal. Okay, good. So Tom says he has the cheat sheet. Francisco asked, do you use a $50 or $100 target on the hawk? As a rule of thumb, scalpers consider a $50 profit their profit objective. That's traditionally a scalper's target. However, in markets like crude oil, gold, the Russell, the mid-cap, that's the EMD, in markets like that tend to be a little bit more volatile, I will often double the profit objective. So a market like crude, I don't normally take a $50 target. I will normally take a $100 target. But that said, the high probability target is $50. And I should have taken it on the hash mark because, or I should have left my profit order in play. Come on, let's go. Clayton says we're up against the hard edge of the cloud, and we are at that. We're looking at a little bit of a struggling market here, there's no question. They are searching for direction. I'm beginning to think that they're going to try to get into that opening range gap. Maybe try to fill that in before the bears come back. Oops, let's go here to the eagle. It'll be easier to see. So the market left off trading right there, and we opened this morning right here. So looks like the top of our gap somewhere around 53.43. And now the sellers come back. Yeah, see, even in the room here, we've got a little, uh, there's no real consensus. Tony says, I'm hoping that's a big bear flag. Yeah, you might be right. And so what Tony's seeing is a market that's come down like this, and we're in a little bit of a retracement, which is typical of a trending market, right? In an uptrending market, we have bullish flags, these little retracements, and then we look for a bullish breakout. This could be a bear flag, and we would see a bear breakout. It's pretty well balanced right now. That's one thing I can say. All right, we're getting a little, just a little traction. Doggone it, are we going to get another retrace here? they're starting to take a little bit too long, so I'm going to take this trade to break even as well. And we'll just hold it there. All right, I'll take the break even stop out. All right, well, not really getting much commitment one way or the other. Yeah, Tony. Tony says we got a late filter entry here um, in the Falcon. Maybe I was too quick on that. Boy, my broker's going to have a field day today. Shoot, maybe I did get out of that too early. Oh well, there they go. Oh, way to go, Clayton. Clayton says, I'm still running a bigger stop on that first short, hoping the market turns short again. Yeah, Clayton says, like you said, it ain't a loss until your stop gets hit, which is true. Oh, way to go, Daniel. Daniel says, I got that late filter, or I guess maybe the macro pullback for 10 ticks, or the first micro macro cross, he said, but I had to sweat the trade a bit. It's that kind of day. The market just doesn't seem to want to commit, and that's usually odd for a Monday. Still, you can tell our cloud dead flat, and the Raptor here also showing it just dead flat, producing a lot of, well, a lot, two macro pullbacks back to back. That's odd. Might see a bit of a deep pullback here. You're probably right. Floyd writes, I got a run on the mid cap and the 6E, but that's all. The market's waiting for Trump's speech tomorrow. You could be right about that because they're waiting on something. That seems to be certain. All right, so here they come. A little bit of a move, and now they're stalling again. Wow. Peter writes, good morning, Eric. Well, good morning, Peter. Peter says, a couple of weeks ago you mentioned that if you had enough money you can outlast the ups and downs. I applied this to my trading strategy. After practicing on Ninja Market Replay, I've now adjusted my stops further away. It does help. I've captured more ticks from recent rallies using this method. It is beneficial to leave a wider stop, no question. At least until you can see what the market is doing. You've seen me adjust my stops rather quickly this morning on both trades, but that's because the market wasn't following through, right? I looked to buy, and yes, if I had my profit order in place, I would have hit my profit target. But I was trying to run it out a little bit further, and the market was not going, so I brought my stop up to break even. And had I not, well, I would still be in the trade to be sure, but now I would be left with a little bit of a management dilemma. Do I bring my stop in below here now? Do I roll it in below the current bar? What do I do? And likewise with the Raptor trade this morning, and admittedly I got in a little bit early on this. This wasn't a proper number one signal, but my initial stop was up here. I could still be short. At this point, I could have brought my stops in above here. But when the market is lacking direction, sometimes it's better to get out. It's okay for the market to pause, but I still expect to see some follow through once it resumes its direction. So now what we're looking at here on the Raptors, we've got a retest of the lows, right? We've got a retest of the lows here. So we have had our test of the extreme. We do have a downtrend. We might see a counter trend signal print and maybe a rally come back. All right, well, here we just got a number two signal. It hasn't printed because, again, the programming, the way our clouds are kind of messed up here, we don't have a proper number two, but it is a number two. All right, so here we go. Let's see if they can't get into that gap. And that's going to put the market up here somewhere. Okay, well, we might have caught a little bit of a runner here. This 53.33 area looks like it's going to be influential. We've taken, or I've taken a couple of trades here already. Oh, come on. Get into that gap. See, and there we go again. We're just waffling. All right, I'll take the trade to break even. Just don't feel much like waiting for them. Yeah, Clayton says the number two signals have been a dime a dozen today. That happens when the market goes sideways. If we roll back here, and you can see when the market's in a little bit of a sideways drift, that's one way you can tell the market is undecided as well, as you're going to print signals. You're not getting much follow through. Clayton asks, this couldn't be a lower high before a failure, could it? Yes, it certainly could. It could be a retest of this high here, and maybe we'll see the market head lower from here. It's unclear at the moment which way the market is going. Right now, we got the buy signal, and so the buyers are controlling the last swing. So technically, we're bullish, but just barely so. See, they can't follow through. They break the high, and then the sellers beat up on them. Just so characteristic of a sideways day. Tony says crude oil might be getting a number one signal. Let's take a look at crude oil here. Yes, right you are, Tony. It is working up that way, isn't it? Cloud's just beginning to cross. And here we've got prices retreating now into the cloud. If the clouds push the market out, then we may well see a number one signal print there. And I think I just heard myself get tagged. Yes, I did. Okay, just making a couple notes here in my journal. So very tight little sideways range here. Jeff was asking, please say again about the signs of not getting any follow through. Sure, Jeff. When you get a chart that's starting to look like this, where you're just getting signals both ways, no real follow through, that tells you that the market is sideways. And these types of signals are going to develop when your clouds get all twisted up like a rope as well. Once the clouds start to unwind a little bit, you're going to get some signals. But so long as the clouds are all twisted up, and I thought maybe we had another day here I could show you. Aha, here we go. This is a good one. You can see none of these counter trend signals should have been appealing to you because we didn't have any with trend, or pardon me, any trend to reverse against. Right? There's no well-defined trend here. There's a very prolonged uptrend, but no real trend to reverse from. Likewise, the number 3 signals, the hard edge bounces, these are continuation signals. There's no real trend to continue. So we're printing nothing but 2s and 3s. And this is a very sideways market. Bar colors, a lot of yellow bars, all printing more or less the same price level. Now it almost looks like we're going to, come back here. We're right back. Look at that 53.33 again. We just tagged the line and ran away from it. Clayton asks, the number 1 signal has been one I have not, or I have never not seen follow through eventually. Have you? Well, no signal is 100%, right? So the number 1, very reliable signal to be sure. If the conditions present themselves, all the signals are very reliable. Like for instance here with the number 2 signal. Right? We have an obvious trend. We have an overextended market because our bands are quite wide. So this is a near perfect number 2. And then the market falls off to the hard edge, which was our target for the number 2 signal. And in this case, it went further as well. Tony says, the number 1 fails. I have the account to prove it. Yes, Clayton. So Clayton says, so it always depends on what the market is doing, correct? Yes, you need to gauge any signal you take against the market context. You need to try to read these things in context. So what is our trend today? Well, today our trend is sideways. What was the trend coming into the day? Well, the trend coming into the day was down. Who controls the market at the moment? Well, if this bar closes lower, then I would say the sellers control the market because we have made a new swing to the short side, and whoever controls the last swing controls the market. So if I get a short signal, a signal to sell, I might be more inclined to do so. People are always afraid of getting caught in a choppy market, and you should be, but you do get clues beforehand. Look at the yellow bars, look at the lack of follow through, just look at the sideways nature of the market. If you're totally confused about what the market is doing, and you think the market is in a downtrend, don't draw just a trend line across the highs. That's great, but draw a trend line also across the lows. Kind of connect the dots, and you'll get a very quick overview of whether the market is bullish or bearish. All right, so here we have now a buy signal coming in. So we've got a number 1 to the upside, a number 1 signal. Um, but by drawing your trend lines this way across the lows, the market no longer looks that bearish, does it? In fact, it starts to look a little bit more bullish. All right, here we go again. And like I said, the only one I'm making happy today is my broker. I'm getting in and out of these trades a little more frequently than I normally do. All right, so what happened? Why are they not? They filled us and they just stopped dead in their tracks? Is that what they're doing now? Oh, brother. Yeah, Clayton says your broker's doing the happy dance. He certainly is. Clayton asks, how do you set your profit order if you don't have one? Pick a blank spot on your chart and then right click. You'll get this menu. And if you're long, you need to sell to get your profit. Right? To offset your long position, you need to sell one. Once this order is on your chart, you can drag it down to where you want it to be. This order will be live the moment you put it on your chart. Come on. Doggone it. Do I gotta jam my stops in here again so quickly? Back down to, you guessed it, 53, 33, 34. Needing to see some support come into the market, some active buying. That will give me an excuse to tighten my stops. Come on, you stinkers, get up there. I don't like to do this, but here we're just going to have to force the market higher with the mouse. There we go, get up there, come on. Get up there. Just give you a little nudge. Come on, no, you're going the wrong way. This way, come on, let's go. All right, that's all you got. Just the other side of 53.33. Yeah, Ken says you need to use some cheese. Yeah, I need to set a block of cheese on the top of my monitor. Right here, come on, we'll just give you a little push. Get over that hurdle. Get going. We've almost filled the gap. If you remember, that gap is here around the 53.43-ish area. So we're at least halfway into that trading gap, and very often that's enough for the market to say, you're filled. Certainly, if we can see this bar finish on the high, we should challenge the last swing high here, which seems to be sitting at 53.38 half. And if we can get above that, well, then I'm pretty confident we're going to get to our profit target. Clayton says the E-mini is in sync. It just printed a #1 long signal, so maybe there will be some confluence among the markets here. Come on, get up there. Oh, you guys, you're killing me here. Just give her a little push. Just get over that 53.38 hump. Oh my gosh, there. Come on, get going. There we go. Come on. You want to. There's 37 half, 37 three quarters. Come on. Give me 38. There's 38. 38 quarter. Oh my gosh, it's almost like we're trading in slow motion here. Oh man. Steve says 53.39 as a resistance line. I also think that's probably pretty close to where that gap is. Not fair today. Not giving us that follow through. Well, you can see here on the Geiger counter, look at the mess. The big block of selling going through. Looks like the buyers absorbed most of it, spread it out a little bit more. And here we are just dead neutral. Look at what a balanced market. And that's been the problem all morning. All right, I'm going to bring my stop in below this little swing low and the primary support, 53.33 half. That's all they're going to get because they're just struggling too much here. This is taking far too long to get any kind of follow through. I'm okay waiting for the market to come around, but like I said, when it does start to print a bar, in this case a bullish bar, I anticipate another bullish bar and another bullish bar. And if it won't give me that, well, then it's going to be time to go. I just don't feel like leaving a stop way down here, not on a day like today. Look at that. They came up there, they touched it. There we are again, 53.38. 38. Come on, go 38 quarter. Oh, there it is, 38 quarter, now half. Oh, man. Here, get up there. No more horsing around. Get up there. The buyers are trying to hold it. See here on the Geiger counter, we are getting a little bit more bullish. Oh, spoke too soon. Now they flipped over to the short side again. Oh, there we go. We're holding. We were holding. Yeah, thanks, Clayton. Clayton says patience, patience. Yes, I know. Usually I am a little bit more patient about the market, but oh, Stephen's already short. You may find yourself on the right side of that equation, Stephen. The fact the market a little reluctant to head higher here. They could just keep flip-flopping. Oh, yeah, Stephen says I'm short on the YM. Well, I'm not holding out a lot of hope for this trade because we're just not getting the follow through. Yeah, Clayton, you're doing better than I am. Clayton says I'm still short from 840 this morning, and it looks like the sellers are going to give it another push here to the short side. So you guys may end up doing pretty well with that. I'm going to bring my stop in. I'm just going to give it this bar. That's it. No more. This current bar, if it finishes below there, then go ahead, take me out. Ooh, we are seeing some heavy selling going on. All right. Well, let me just fix that here. 53.34 half. All right, gang. if you are going to continue trading from here, I think, well, shoot, I don't know what to think. The market just dead sideways this morning. Maybe the thing to do is go do something else. So that's where we're at, just a very, very sideways, non-committal kind of market today. Hopefully things will loosen up a little bit tomorrow. I will see you then. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.